Whether you like it or not, the truth is the vast majority of people that you interact with will judge you based on how effectively and confidently you speak. Now, this might not sound fair, but it's just how the human brain operates in a world in which we have so much that we demand of our brain that it wants to be as efficient as possible. And so what our brains do is it judges people instantly. I mean instantly. And it mostly comes from how well and effectively and confidently or not does another human speak. And for whatever reason, we've been wired this way. I mean, think about the language that we use in the world today. And by the way, I'm going to share with you the one and only way to actually get better at speaking and more confident so more people see you as a confident and competent individual, whether you want to get hired for a job opportunity or you want to get a promotion or you want to be a leader for other people and be more effective and get people bought into your vision and your mission and the things you're doing with your business or in your personal life. You want more people to be attracted to who you are, to build friendships and relationships or centers of influence, whatever it might be. I know for certain that this will help you, and I'm going to share with you the one and only way to actually do that. But let's think about it this way. How often do you listen to someone speak, maybe in the political realm, and you're like, that person sounds like he doesn't know what he's talking about, or that person sounds like she knows exactly what she's doing. We absolutely instantly judge so many people so quickly that we don't even know their credentials or their background or their full beliefs and values or their experience. We just say, how well did this person communicate? And by the way, think about your social interactions. If you meet someone, do you just have a certain sense about someone when you meet that person for the first time? How's that person speak and communicate and interact with you? Or if you're professionally, like you see people on your team or leaders or people that you're leading, how well they communicate. Very often we're like, is that person confident and competent enough to actually deliver at the highest possible level? Like, we judge people instantly, whether we like it or not, whether we think it's appropriate or fair or not. This is how the human brain operates. The next time you meet someone, if you are not certain that you agree with what I'm saying right now, the next time you meet someone, decide, how much do I believe this person is confident and competent in what he or she does? And then ask yourself, how did I come to that conclusion? And for majority of people, it will be based on how well did that person communicate his or her ideas about what he believes or what she's trying to do or what the vision is that those folks have. Like, that's what happens. And so now, if you want to get more effective and confident and capable of communicating and speaking in a way that draws and attracts more people to you and gets people to believe in you and your mission and your vision and your ideas, then the one and only way, and by the way, after I share the one and only way, I'm going to tell you two very powerful ways, and maybe the only two ways to actually develop on this one thing. The only way to get better at it is to actually do it. You have to speak. You have to be practicing just like anything else. You're not just going to show up one day and be like, you know what, I'm going to be a great communicator and a speaker, and so I'm just going to go out and I'm automatically great. No, you got to do it consistently again and again and again and again. What I can tell you for certain is as I reflect on one of the first times, not the first time, but one of the first times I stood up in front of a group in college to deliver a speech in a rhetoric class, in a speech class, I remember watching the video because we recorded it and looked back on it, and I was like, that is the most I wanted to fall asleep. I wanted to break the disc that it was recorded to because I didn't want to watch it. I was so boring. I wasn't engaging. I wasn't there. I wasn't bringing the energy and the enthusiasm and the conviction to what I was sharing and speaking on. And it was bad. And my point in saying this is maybe you don't like me as a speaker today. I have no idea. But I'm certainly significantly more passionate, enthusiastic, and engaging as a speaker and a communicator because I've been doing this now for well over a decade. And truthfully, I've been doing it since I was a little kid and running for student council and doing all these different things, being a leader on my sports teams when I was young. But my point is, you don't get to be effective and appearing confident as a communicator, as a speaker, until you get the reps. Like if you want to be a great quarterback or basketball player, tennis player, anything you want to do, you will not get great until you get the reps. And so there's two specific ways that you can get the reps so that you can actually get better. Because if you're like, JJ, great. I understand that if I want to appear as more confident, maybe even actually be more confident for a job interview or for the opportunity to maybe be seen as a confident, competent leader to get a promotion at work, or to be seen as a confident, competent leader, for people to want to follow me or join my team or participate in the mission that I'm on. Yes, I want to be better at communicating. If that's you, two ways you can do it. Number one, you can do it in quasi-private. And what I mean by that is, as an example, right now what I'm doing is a daily audio blog. So where it's not video, but on my podcast, the JJ Peller Podcast, Monday through Friday during the week, I'm carving out 10 to 20 minutes to be able to communicate an idea, a perspective, a lesson learned, something I've been thinking about, so I can practice just extemporaneous speaking. By the way, if you're not familiar with that word, extemporaneous means I've got some bulleted ideas, but it is not a completely scripted speech. It's just something where I'm like, I kind of know how I want to intro this thing, and I know the one or two or three things I want to touch on, and maybe how I want to close, but really it's not like actually crafted and scripted for the speech I want to deliver. By the way, this is probably the most powerful communication skills to develop, is extemporaneous speaking, where you can just off the cuff talk about anything. And so I'd encourage you to think about, how do I develop the skill of extemporaneous speaking? One way is by recording yourself speaking. And you can publicly produce this on a podcast where you're like, no one's going to listen, by the way, first of all, to most of your initial several or dozens or several hundred episodes. So don't worry about maybe people like listening to it and be like, you got to start somewhere. But the reason I think publishing it is great is it forces you to be on it. It's like actually performing in a game is different than practice, because in practice, you're like, if I screw up, it doesn't have the same consequences as if I screw up in the game. And if you know you're going to be publishing the audio that you're speaking, then you want to show up a little bit differently. You want to be ready. You want to deliver. You want to be at your best. And that little bit of extra pressure to deliver is really good for helping you to develop the skill, because this is called deliberate practice. It's about practicing as if you are performing in real life. So if you want to get better at real life extemporaneous speaking, then put yourself in the mindset of like, I'm going to deliver this. And one way to do that is by knowing that whatever you're going to speak, if it's a daily blog or once a week, I'm going to put it out there publicly and produce it on a podcast or a video. Then I got to show up differently, because I don't want to look like I don't know what I'm talking about, or I want to come across as confident and competent, because I'm going to put it out into the world. That's one way to do it. It's probably the simplest and easiest, and all of us can do it. But the second way that you can be developing your ability to confidently communicate and speak with another individual or groups of individuals is to actually look for opportunities, or at least be open to opportunities for organizations and teams that want a speaker to come in and talk on a topic that you specifically are passionate about. You see, whatever you care about, whether it's chess or basketball or teamwork or mindset or knitting, I don't know what it is. There are groups out there that would love to hear your message and the things that you care about. And if you start putting it out there, by the way, one great way to put it out there is to actually do the podcast thing I just mentioned by putting out content of you speaking. But if you just are open to the possibility of saying, hey, I'm happy to share my message and speak with teams and groups and other folks that are out there, then you put yourself in a position to attract these opportunities. Like, people will joke, like, the way to become a speaker is to just say you're a speaker. But the reality is, like, that's exactly how I started getting my first free speaking jobs, which led to paid speaking jobs years ago. And so now I have people that will reach out and they'll want me to speak. So one thing you can do is actually just put yourself out there, someone that speaks on a given topic, even if you're not the quote-unquote expert. But if you are an enthusiast, meaning you're enthusiastic and passionate about the topic, and you study it and you learn it and you talk about it with your friends and family and you talk about it on your podcast, then you could have the opportunity to share that message with groups. Even if you've got no monetary incentive here, you're not like, man, I want to sell this. Like, you do something totally different for your full-time job or your business that you're building. Be like, man, I'm passionate about motivational speaking, or I'm passionate about knitting or chess or hydration and health, whatever it is. I want to go and I want to talk about this stuff with groups of people. And so if that's your mindset, then you're going to get more opportunities to actually practice live, or maybe they do virtual events where you can speak with live groups of people instead of just talking into your phone on a microphone, or even not a microphone, into your podcast. So it's a different level. Like, it puts you in that game mode. Like when I referenced a few minutes ago where I was like, hey, if you want to really have deliberate practice with your speaking on the podcast, you got to mentally put yourself in a place where you are delivering value through your speaking. You're like, I want to show up, I want to deliver, because I want people who listen to this podcast to really enjoy it and not think I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, there are all kinds of things we can get into with the mindset there. But here's my big point. Do the podcast and or get out there in public and let people know. Because, friend, by the way, what's really cool is maybe one day you even get paid to go and speak. That's what I did. I just started speaking when people were like, hey, do you want to come speak at this event we're having for my team or this really small group? I was like, sure, we can't pay you, but you can come and speak. Awesome. I got better. I got in front of people. I practiced. I got the reps. And I developed the skill, the ability to speak with groups of people, even if they were small groups initially. The groups eventually got bigger, and eventually people started saying, we will pay you money to come and speak to our team or our group or organization. How cool is that? So not only do you get better at the speaking, but you can get paid for it? I mean, look, I got nothing to sell you from a professional speaker standpoint. I just know that it's really cool that people reach out and say, we'd love for you to come and speak. And by the way, we're going to pay you to come and speak to our group on the thing that you're passionate about anyways. So here's the final thing I'll say that could be really, 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 really helpful for you. If you don't want to do the podcast thing and you're like, I don't want to go find speaking opportunities because my job doesn't allow it. I don't have that flexibility. You can find speaking opportunities, or better, create opportunities within your current job and role within your current company. Just find opportunities. Say, hey, I love, even if let's say you're in manufacturing business, but and it's a small local family company. There's 4 people that work there. Could you go to your boss or the leader of the organization and say, I am passionate about knitting. If anybody wants to come learn about knitting, I'd be thrilled to be able to teach on this thing. Could I talk to the group on this? Or maybe it's something more relevant to more people at the group. And you're like, I love health and fitness, and I know we've got a wellness initiative here at the company happening this year. I'd love to be able to I'm no expert. I don't have a degree in this. I don't have designations, but I study this stuff. I listen to all the podcasts. I watch the videos. I read books, and I'd love to share what I know about health and wellness. It's not the end-all, be-all, but could I share about this one specific topic or idea or concept even for 15 minutes on a call in an upcoming meeting? Or in person in an upcoming meeting, even just 5 minutes. Let me have the floor, let me have the table, let me be able to speak and share to the group. Or maybe you love leadership, or maybe you love motivation or personal development, whatever it is. Look for opportunities where your company wants people to come in and speak, or create it. Go to your manager or the leader in the organization, or just say, hey, can I set up a group where I'm going to talk once a month on this topic? And if one other person shows up, great. If nobody shows up, I'll record it and we can post it somewhere and other people can get access to it. I'm telling you, friend, Warren Buffett says, I don't know if you know about him, but he's pretty financially wealthy at the very least. So we can look to him for business success tips, certainly. And he has said, I hope I don't butcher the quote, but he has said basically, the one easy way to become at least 50% more valuable is to develop your communication skills, both written and oral. Did you catch this? One easy way, he didn't say one hard way, one easy way to become at least 50% more valuable is to develop your communication skills. If you want to be more valuable in the marketplace, you want to be more valuable to your clients or your team or your current organization that you work for, develop your ability to speak and communicate. It will go such a long way. And if you aspire to be a great leader or source of inspiration for other people, you can use your voice to be that source of inspiration, to be that encourager, to be the motivational force in people's lives so they tap in to their greatest potential, or they can have their eyes open to the thing that you've been passionate about for months or years or even decades. So friend, I want to encourage you that if you want to totally change your ability to accelerate your success, to go to a new level, to be seen as the person that people are attracted to because of the way you confidently and competently speak, start working on this skill today.